We're going to get started. I would just ask that if you have questions as we navigate through the program that you just raise your hands. That allows me to see you and identify you easily. If you will also just list your full name and media outlet, that will also help me identify you in the correct way. And with that, Chairman King, I'll turn it over to you.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Andy King. I'm the chairman of the 80th Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Looking forward to having you all down here in Jacksonville on January 2nd. The game will be played at 7:30. It's the only bowl game on January 2nd, so expect a lot of media attention and a good turnout. We're very excited to have both Ole Miss and Duke join our game. I believe it's the first time they have met in their history. So it's a big event for us. We're so pleased to have them. And, with that, I'm going to turn it over first to Duke and to Coach Diaz. Coach Diaz and the Duke Blue Devils finished the season at 9-3 and are coming off 5 consecutive bowl game wins. So a really strong performance by them. This is the Blue Devils' first appearance in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Hard to believe, being in our 80th year, but this is the first time that we've had them. So very forward to having the team and all of their fans come down to Jacksonville and show off our great city. Coach Diaz, we'd like to officially welcome you and the Blue Devils to Jacksonville, and I'll turn it over to you for your comments.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you to everybody that works along with you at the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. We're really humbled and honored to be selected for this game, and as you mentioned, the fact that this will be Duke's first time is another feather in our cap. This team has taken a lot of pride this year in doing things that either Duke has never done before or has not done in an awfully long time. And one of those things, and when we beat Florida State for the first time in program history, and to get our 6th win in the locker room afterwards, we said we're going somewhere. The more we win, the warmer the destination, and the better team that'll be waiting for us there. And so the fact that we were able to go 3-0 in November. And secure the Gator Bowl invite is a tribute to our guys and how they finished. Now, as you expected, the warmer you go and the later you play, when you get to play in January, you're going to play against somebody really, really good. And we're really excited that we've drawn an outstanding opponent, Ole Miss. Lane does an unbelievable job there. Admired them for a long time. And it's a great challenge. It's what we need. It's the perfect step of where we are in building our program. And as you mentioned, excited about being the only game on the 2nd. This will be my 3rd time at the Gator Bowl, and the hospitality has been first class every time I've been there. So my family and I were very excited to make our 3rd trip down to Jacksonville for this game. And with that, I'll open up for any questions or how we're doing it next, Andy.
I think next we're going to Coach Kiffin's comments, and then we open it up for questions.
There we go.
So thanks, Coach Diaz. Didn't know it was your 3rd trip, but that's great. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Coach Kiffin, the Ole Miss Rebels finished the season 9-3 with decisive wins against South Carolina and the Georgia Bulldogs. This is the Rebels' 3rd appearance in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. I think we've got some old footage of Archie Manning running around, scrambling around years and years ago. They last played here January 1, 1991, at the game that was versus Michigan. And perhaps one of the most memorable games in bowl history. Again, Ole Miss played Auburn in 1971. That game featured Archie Manning with a broken arm. I think you see that on SEC Story. There's a pretty big game by Archie and showed his toughness playing with a broken arm. Coach Kiffin, we're glad to have you and the Rebels back in Jacksonville. And so I'll turn it over to you for your comments.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We're extremely excited. Come down there, like you said, for a really big matchup. I think Manny's done an unbelievable job in only 1 year there. The way that they've played as a team, and then on defense, top 5 in a number of categories, and create a lot of chaos on defense by how well they play up front. And in typical wherever Manny's been, they do a great job on defense and create a lot of problems. So our players are excited. It's a while till we play, but it seems like even our players that maybe were in question of playing and opting out for the draft as of right now. All have said that they're playing, so that's exciting, and I think that says a lot about this team. In an age where that isn't the case a lot of times, I think that says a lot about this team and how close they are, and also says about how they feel about the Gator Bowl and playing a really good Duke team. So we're excited to get down there. Like you said at the beginning, there's a lot of stuff going on with recruiting and portal and all that, but we'll get into the opponent study here a little bit and start practicing for it. But initial reaction from our players was great about it. And I think a number of them have already gone on to social media talking about their excitement for the game and that they're going to play, unlike what seems to be a lot of around college football outside of the playoffs of NFL players opting out. So again, great respect for Manny and Duke and what they've done this year, and excited for a big time SEC ACC matchup in a really big bowl.
Awesome. Thank you both. We're going to take just a few questions. We'll start with Gary Smits. Gary, will you say who you are and identify what organization you're with?
Yeah, Gary Smits, Florida Times Union. Coach Kiffin, can you tell me when Jackson informed you that he was going to play, or has that been something that's kind of almost been understood as the season has gone on, that it was your understanding that he would play in any bowl game you were in?
Probably last week, I asked him, was he playing? Told him, possible bowls that we were hearing, with Gator being one of those, and he said he was definitely playing and wanted to play his last game with these guys. And he encouraged some of his other guys that are kind of in that in between position of playing or opting out for the draft, and seems like the majority of those guys are all headed towards, or see, all those guys are headed towards playing in this game. So pretty neat. He's been an amazing leader. Sent a bunch of records here in school history about how he played, but how he's been as a leader and how he's been to this university has been awesome. And I just think this is another example of it, of making sure that he finishes what he started.
Thank you, Coach.
Michael Katz, will move to you. I might have lost him. Okay, let's go. Jim Summer. All right, let me see if I missed him. Anybody else? Jim, can you unmute?
Yeah, I think
Perfect.
you unmute button. Okay, yeah, okay, I think I'm on there. Jim Sumner from Go Duke Magazine. Question for Coach Diaz. Can you address the Malik Murphy situation and how Duke is going to handle the quarterback situation going into the bowl game?
Yeah, my comments there is that I've got a ton of respect for Malik Murphy. Our story as a program, it doesn't happen to this way without Malik. He's been everything we could have hoped for and more in his time with us. And so I'm excited for him and for his future. And I'm glad that we were part of each other's story. And if we don't have him for the game, then we'll get Grayson and Henry ready to go. And we feel good about both of those guys and move on from there.
Does this change what kind of sets you can run an offense or anything like that?
We're way premature to understand what sets we're going to run on offense. So got Lane here listening.
It would be great. It'd be great. It'd be great if Manny would. I'd like this guy.
Yeah,
come to the bowl game, do the press conference every day. Maybe ask Manny what their opening script is too. Maybe
that's
right.
Okay,
okay, Manny. What are the first 15 plays you're running?
Exactly. So
okay. I mean, I hate to ask this question, but do you expect any opt-outs?
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, I think the same thing what Lane was saying. I mean, we expect our guys to play. We haven't heard anyone that sounds like they would not play. I think we have a similar thing where our guys are excited about playing with and for each other. And so, as we say, we'll get back on the field at the end of the week, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks, man.
Michael Katz.
Hey Lane, you mentioned Jackson there earlier. I know he did so much in helping put this specific team together. You touched on it a little bit, but what does it mean to you to have him playing one more time, to get to coach him one more time? And I guess what does it say about him as a person, as a football player, that he wanted to go out there one more time with his guys?
Yeah, it's who he is. I mean, he didn't, when I asked him, he didn't even blink. He's like, yeah, of course I'm playing. So, it's just who he is, man. Unbelievable, leader, teammate, friend to these guys. I kind of think of him as like another son, to me. He's just been awesome to see him grow and see how he treats people. He's just amazing. I'm really proud of him.
Connor O'Neill.
Yeah, Manny, Connor O'Neill with Devils Illustrated. Manny, just to follow up on the quarterback stuff, is it more of a quarterback competition between Grayson and Henry at this point, or do you pick one of them to just get ready as the starter for this game?
Like I said, this is all just so new to us in the situation. So we'll look at what they do, and our best way to match, which is what they do on defense, is outstanding. I mean, a historic performance in terms of creating negative plays, and that comes from a group that knows about negative plays. So the chaos index is going to be off the charts. So anyone who lines up against quarterback against these guys is going to have a tough day. So, but we'll put a plan together, and whether it's one, two of them, however we use the guys, it'll be whatever we think the best chance for us to win the game.
Randy Lefko with Clay Today.
Hey, Coach Diaz. My name's Randy Lefko, Clay Today Sports Editor. You've had some familiarity with some of our guys. A guy named Shaq Quarterman played for you at one point. You now have another one of our great defensive players, Kendi Charles, added to your roster this past season. Tell me his contribution to defensive scheme with his particular skill set at rushing passing.
Kendi? You mentioned Kendi Charles?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kendi's been a great addition to
Yes,
our
sir.
team.
Just
Yeah, Kendi's been a key addition to our football team. We were very inexperienced at defensive tackle coming into the year. And in our system, really our defensive tackle play is where it all begins. And we felt like Kendi was had all the tools in terms of being a disruptive force versus the run, twitchy, good with movement skills, and then also had enough juice where he could affect the quarterback. So it's been fun watching him get more and more comfortable with what we do all year. And the fact that he gets rewarded by, coming back and being able to play close to home is a great thing. As you mentioned, I've been very fortunate, been around some great players from the Jacksonville area. And so there'll be a lot of familiarity, and be good to get back amongst some familiar faces.
Sam Hutchins.
Yeah, this is for Lane. I think a different quarterback question, Lane. I think we saw it a little bit on social media, but now that the regular season's over, I just wanted to get your perspective on Braden Waterman's season, and obviously a little different season from everyone else. But what did it mean to you to get that news that he's cancer free, and what's your perspective been like on what his season's been?
Yeah, Braden's amazing. Story's amazing. I think it's the third time now that he's beat cancer, and he just lightens our room, man. He comes in the quarterback room, and sometimes we're down or we screwed up a game this year, and he puts in perspective about life over football in a game. So it's just awesome having him around. We bring him to all the meetings. He's out there working out now, which is great to see. And so it's a great story and some perspective when we get so lost in this football world and how that's seems like life or death when you lose a game or not make the playoffs or whatever it is. And just a great story.
Thank you.
Back to Jim Sumner. You have another question?
Yeah, a question for either coach. Until a few years ago, well, particularly I want Coach Diaz answer, but if Coach Kiffin wants to chime in, that's great. Until a few years ago, you could spend you and your staff could spend this time preparing for a ball game. Now you've got to spend this time preparing for a ball game and managing the transfer portal. How do you kind of manage those dual responsibilities? How do you allocate your staff time? How much of a challenge is it to do both of those things at the same time?
Well, I mean, from our standpoint, we adjust, right? This is the new normal. What we're not doing right now is we're not on the road recruiting. We're not on the road, babysitting our commits who, up until last year, were signing on the third Wednesday of December. So the fact we've already had a signing day, that takes one of the stressors out of December and removes that. So, like I said, however the landscape changes, we adapt to it. That's what football coaches are. We're problem solvers and we're adjusters, and we adjust.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, like Manny said, I mean, we just try to make the best of the situations. It really is a really dumb system. Think about what we're talking about or what coach just had to address, quarterback going in the portal. I mean, just think about what we're talking about. It's like the season's not over yet and there's a free agency window open, and just to get the NFL, getting ready for the AFC, NFC playoffs postseason, and players are, in free agency already. So it's really poor system, but we just try to manage the best we can through it, and hopefully someday it'll get fixed.
Thanks.
Taylor Comas with Inside Rebels.
Yeah, just for Manny, what do you make of Jackson Dart, and what kind of challenges does he kind of present? I know you're a month away from the game, but.
Well, I was a curious observer last year when Penn State was playing Ole Miss in Atlanta. It was weird watching that game kind of from the sidelines, not on the sidelines, but watching it on TV, having spent the last years at Penn State, and to watch his ability to execute at a high level against a very, very talented defense, not just through the air, but also with his feet. And that's always the greatest stress point on a defense, right? Is that if a quarterback can beat you with his arm when you are playing tight coverage, and then also has the ability to make plays, either scrambling to throw or scrambling to run with his feet, plus design quarterback run plays. So guys like that are the ones who give, defensive coordinators nightmares. And then when you add the experience and the intangibles, of which Lane mentioned, of who he is, teams and offenses, usually respond to leaders like that, and that it looks like why they've had the success that they've had.
Jared Redding, 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Lane, I was just asking for some clarification on your opening statement when you were talking about NFL-related opt-outs. Are you anticipating all of those players that are kind of in that situation to play in this ball game, or are there some other decisions with some other players still pending?
Yeah, I mean, things could change. As of today, we've had conversations with all of the guys, and no one has said they're not playing. So, there's still a lot of time between now and the game, but it seems like it's headed that direction.
I think that was our last question. So thank you both coaches for joining us today. We will put this video in a portal and send it out to everybody with a link. And we look forward to seeing everybody in Jacksonville in just a couple weeks. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. See you guys down there. Appreciate it.